Hi everyone, today's hair is inspired by Miley Cyrus circa 2013. It was kind of a weird phase for Miley, but this week I shot a series of 3 workouts for you. They're all going to use the same structure. Today's is a total body workout, next week's will be lower body, and the third and final week will be upper body and core. Body weight workouts always seem to get the most views on here, so I'm assuming that means you guys like them best. So no equipment is needed for any of these 3 videos. So this is an AMRAP workout. AMRAP stands for as many rounds or as many reps as possible. We're going to break it into mini AMRAPs of 4 minutes. Within those 4 minutes, I'm going to give you 2 exercises and I'll tell you how many reps to do, and you're just going to go through them as many times as possible within those 4 minutes. In total, you have 3 different AMRAPs, so you're going to be getting different exercises every 4 minutes. Now, in this video, I'm going to go through those 3 AMRAPs twice for a 30-minute workout. That being said, they're meant to be pretty challenging, and the goal is for you to feel pretty spent at the halfway point. So if you get through all 3 and you've had enough or you're short on time, that is a great workout right there. Don't feel like you have to go back to the start and repeat them. Before each AMRAP, I'm going to give you a preview of the exercises, and I'll also show you how to modify them so that they're low-impact options. As with all workouts, you want to make sure that you're properly warmed up beforehand. I have a couple warm-ups on my channel, which I link to below, or you could do your own at home. And always listen to your body, taking those modifications or stopping as needed. If you're new to my channel, I don't play music in the background because I want you to be able to listen to whatever music you like or TV shows. So if you want to get something queued up, I would do that now. And with all that said, I'm going to get to the preview of your first set of exercises. Okay, so coming up first, we have 5 burpees and then 5 leg lifts with a spread at the bottom. And you are just going to cycle through that as many times as you can in 4 minutes. So don't worry if you're going at the same pace as me. That is not what is important. Let's go. So I'm doing chest to floor burpees here. I also showed you some of the modifications. If you would rather do a push-up instead of lowering your chest to the floor, that's an option. Or you could eliminate that altogether. So I'm moving on to the leg lifts. Now I'm going to do these with my arms overhead and my shoulder blades crunched off the floor. If that is too much, if you're feeling pain in your lower back, do this with your hands under your butt for support. And if your neck bothers you, you can always rest your head on the ground. So you want to maintain a neutral spine during these. So think about drawing your low abs and your belly button down towards the floor just to keep a neutral pelvic bone. What's going to happen is your pelvic bone is going to want to tilt forward and the low back is going to want to arch up to the ceiling. So what makes this challenging is avoiding that. So I'm moving back to the burpees. Your goal is to move continuously throughout the 4 minutes. If form starts going out the window though and things start to get a little sloppy, slow it down, okay? Quality is more important than quantity. So I'm moving back to the floor for those leg lifts. And to continue what I was talking about the first time, only lower your legs as low as you can go, maintaining neutral spine and pulling the belly button down to the floor, okay? So if you are arching a lot through your low back, you're lowering your legs too far down to the floor, okay? Maybe you just go down to a 45-degree angle and do the spread there. Now, if you're doing this with the shoulder blades crunched off the floor like I am, make sure that your chin isn't on your chest, okay? Lift it away. Keep that airway open and a nice long neck. All right, we are at the halfway point, okay? 2 minutes in, 2 minutes to go. So other ways to modify this leg lift with the spread, if you are on it like I am, you can always bend your knees. So we'll go through our options. You can bend your knees. Don't lower your legs as low. Or you can put your hands under your bum. That is going to be the most supportive for that low back. If you have tight shoulders like I do, you'll notice I brought my arms in and I'm now just having my elbows wide, fingers by the ears, just to make it a smidge easier. So you have just over 30 seconds left in this first AMRAP. My goal is to get through this round that I'm on. So I'm almost done with my burpees. I'm going to try to get through those 5 leg lifts and spreads so that I end cleanly, having gotten through 4 rounds of these exercises. Ten seconds to go. I'm struggling. That is time. I'm going to finish my last rep, and now I'm going to show you the next 2 exercises. You have 60 seconds to recover. Okay, AMRAP number 2 coming up. We have those squat jacks with the heel click and then the plank jack with the reptile crunch. We'll start with that squat jack with the jump and the heel click. So you're low, you jack your feet in, out, and then you jump up, tapping your feet together. Now, if the heel click isn't happening, don't worry. The purpose of it is to force you to jump high enough that you have time to touch your feet together and send them out wide. But if you would rather just do a squat jack and a regular squat jump, that works too. So I'm going to make my way to the floor now. I find that forearm plank. It's 1 jack and then same knee to same elbow. The magic number is 5 for most of these exercises. It's 6 for these though, because we are alternating sides. So it'll end up being 3 to each side. So I'm making my way up for round number 2 of these. Already out of breath and stalling. So I'm coming down for my second round of the plank jacks with the reptile. When you do the reptile crunch, I really want you to pull that knee as close to touching your arm as you can get it, okay? I want a big contraction through the obliques. So don't worry about speed, focus more on range of motion. How close to your arm can you get that knee? Maybe you even make physical contact with it. I'm not as concerned about that though, as I am just about the effort, okay? It's gonna look different for everyone. All right, so I've gotten through these exercises twice, making my way back up for those squat jacks. You can notice my buns getting messier and messier and kind of falling apart as the workout goes on. So when you do that jump, it's really explosive. You got to get some air so you can tap your feet together. We are officially halfway through the AMRAP, so 2 minutes in, you got 2 minutes to go. When you're doing the plank move, make sure that your hips are staying right around shoulder height. So as you tire, it's going to be tempting for your butt to kind of pike up into the air. So just check in on that and make sure it is not doing so. When you land in the jump in these jacks, make sure that you're landing softly. So you're landing and sinking right back down into that low squat position. Button hips down and back, weight in the heels when you're doing the jack. We have under a minute to go, all right? About 40 seconds. So if you have some energy to burn, maybe now is the time to dial up the intensity and the speed just a little bit. You got it. 30 seconds now on the clock. When you're in the low squat doing the jack, make sure you're keeping your chest open and lifted. So long spine, and we're not hunching through the shoulders. So think about kind of sliding your shoulder blades down your spine. Last couple seconds here. I'm making my way to that forearm plank. And time. Okay, you have 60 seconds to rest while I show you the third and final AMRAP. Okay, third AMRAP coming up. And this one, fair warning, a lot of legs, especially you're going to be feeling this in your quads. So we have a lunge hop to a switch, and you're going to do 5 on each leg, okay? So do 5 on the right, and then do 5 on the left. So that switch, you really just come up. It's like a little scissor kick, and you land back with the same leg in front. And again, that's 5 reps each leg. So I'm making my way down for the donkey hop kick. So you're in a bear plank position, knees under hips, hands under shoulders. You're on the balls of your feet. You do a little hop, and then you go into the full donkey kick. So when you do that hop, you only have to bring your feet like an inch or two off the floor. When you do the kick, that's when you bring your heels in towards your bum. Those should be quick. Already pounding out my quads. So you are a minute in. We got 3 minutes to go here. And remember, you have a choice on this one. You could go just through these AMRAPs once, which means in 2 minutes and about 45 seconds, you'd be done with your workout. Or if you're in it for the long haul for the 30-minute workout, we will repeat all of these one more time. Now, if these start to get to be too much, these lunge hop switches, you can always take out the jump. It would just be a back lunge with a little pulse at the bottom. I'm making my way down for round 2 of those little bear plank hops to the donkey kicks. When you're doing the hop, your hips should stay pretty low. So as your quads start to increasingly get mad at you, you're gonna wanna pike your butt up into the air. Just make sure when you're in the bear plank, your hips are truly level with your shoulders. And then it's just a hop, it's a couple inches up from there. So we are over the halfway point, more than 2 minutes in, less than 2 minutes to go. You got this. Now, on these lunge hop switches, if you notice by the second leg you're fried, try to start on the other leg the next time you get to this exercise, okay? That way it'll be a little fresher and we'll just kind of balance things out. If you don't notice that big of a difference, then doesn't matter. We are 3 minutes in. You have just 60 seconds to go, okay? So maybe make a goal for yourself. Do you want to complete one full round of these exercises? Maybe you're just trying to get halfway through. Think about how many rounds you've completed so far, and then make a goal for this last push right now based on that. Final 15 seconds. I want you moving continuously right through to the end. You got this. 10 seconds to go now. And done. Saved by those beeps. All right. So again, we're at the halfway point. This might be it for you today. If you're going to do it a second round, though, I am going to show you a preview of the first AMRAP, even though we've already done this. This way, you just have something to look at other than me lay on the ground and recover. 60 seconds of rest here, and then we will start from the top. Now, you have an option, okay? You could start from the top of the AMRAP, or you could take off where you left off in the previous one. So for AMRAP number 1, I was able to get through 4 rounds on the dot. So I'll just start from the beginning, but maybe you only got halfway through the round, in which case you could start with the leg spreads instead of those burpees. Up to you. All right, let's get ready. Clock is going to start in 3, 2, 4 minutes. All right, so you know the drill. Same 2 exercises we started this with. 5 burpees, 5 leg lifts with that spread at the bottom. Okay, so this is a tough workout, and we're now entering the second half. If you need to take those modifications, go for it. Remember, for these burpees, do whatever version of burpee works for you. Maybe that means push up instead of chest to floor. Maybe it means no push up or lowering at all, and you're just jumping to plank. You can also always use a chair or a bench to elevate your hands. For the leg lifts and spreads, you're only lowering your legs as low as you can go while still honoring that low back. Maybe you do it with arms overhead, shoulder blades crunched up. If you have tight shoulders or if that's just otherwise too much, you can always bring hands in under your bum or just hands lightly behind your head to help support the weight of your skull. So I want you to think back to the first AMRAP. How many rounds were you able to get through? I want you to try to match that performance. Maybe you even try to beat your performance this time. So I was able to get through 4 full rounds. So that is my goal right here. You'll notice for those leg lifts, I just put my hand on my abdomen. Sometimes I do that just for like a physical cue to remind myself. Knit the ribs together, draw the navel down towards the floor. That way we are going to protect that low back. And if you are still feeling the low back peel off of the ground and arch up to the ceiling, again, just don't lower those legs quite as low. We're at the halfway point, 2 minutes in, 2 minutes to go. I'm also halfway through my goal, so I'm on track to hit those 4 rounds. But again, don't worry about where I am, okay? The only person you're competing with is yourself. So yes, the goal of these AMRAPs is to get through as many rounds and get in as many reps as you can, but don't rush through these, especially with this leg spread. I want you to take your time on the spread so we're not rushing through it. You might want to rush through it so you have less time with your legs at a hover, but your core is going to get a much better workout if we go slow through those spreads and then minimize the time with the legs pointing up to the ceiling. 60 seconds remain on the clock, okay? You're 3 minutes in. So last minute of work with these 2 exercises. We'll check them off the list after this. You will not see them again. My goal is to get through 1 more round. I am on those burpees. Final 30 seconds on the clock in this AMRAP. You got this. All right, so my goal is to get through these leg lifts and the spreads so that I will have completed 4 rounds. I'm almost there. Got about 10 seconds on the clock. Whoa, am I going to make it? I'm struggling. And time. I did it. Okay, so you have 60 seconds to rest here. Again, I'm going to give you a little refresher of what the exercises are, but these are the same 2 we saw when we did this AMRAP the first time. It's going to be those squat jacks with the heel clicks, and then the forearm plank jack with the reptile crunch. So kind of a jacking theme here. Okay, let's start preparing to start AMRAP number 2 for the second time. Now, I'm going to start with those plank jacks to the reptile because in the last time we did these, I only got 1 in on my last round, but start wherever you want. You can totally start with those squat jack to the heel clicks. Remember, with the reptile jacks, we're doing 6 instead of the standard 5 reps. That's just so that we keep everything even. Since you're alternating, it'll end up being 3 crunches to each side. So the point of adding in the heel click, like I was talking about the first time we did this, is just to kind of force you to really make that squat jump explosive. You have to get enough air that you can tap your heels together and then bring your feet out wide. Now, if that's not happening, just give me a regular squat jump, okay? And if the jumping is too much, take it out. I showed you how to modify at the beginning. You can always step instead of jump. To modify these plank jacks with the reptile crunch, you can elevate your hands to a chair or bench. That'll make them a little easier. And you can also always step instead of jumping in the jack. Making my way back down to the floor. We are 90 seconds in. We got about 2.5 minutes to go. You got this. I always think of that meme about waiting for class to end, where it's like, I just have to get through 30 minutes. That's 10 minutes, 3 times. That's 5 minutes, 6 times. I think the same applies to workouts, especially like this. Kind of break the time into smaller increments to sort of mentally trick yourself into thinking, this isn't so bad. I got this. Speaking of which, we're already at that halfway point, okay? 2 minutes to go. I'm catching my breath for a second. I'm starting to slow down, but we got this. So when you're doing the squat jack, really make sure you're staying low in the squat. As we tire, what we tend to do with squats is we just sort of lean forward, but without really sitting low through our hips, okay? So button hips down and back, weight in your heels when you're in that low squat, keeping our chest open, spine long. Remember, when you do that reptile crunch, I want you to focus on pulling that knee as close to actually touching your elbow as you can get it. So big range of motion, which is going to equal a big contraction in the side body. Three minutes down, we have 1 minute to go. That is 60 seconds, and then we are done with these exercises and on to our final AMRAP. So think about how many rounds you've been able to get to in the first 3 minutes. Can you use that to make a goal for yourself for these last 60 seconds? Maybe it's one more time through the set of exercises. With your jacks in the plank position, make sure the hips are staying right around shoulder height, so don't let your butt pike up into the air. Final push. We have just about 10 seconds to go. I'm taking my sweet old time. Maybe if I wait long enough, the time will run out. There we go. Didn't get through all 5, but that is a wrap on AMRAP number 2. So again, you have 60 seconds here to rest. I'm going to just show you the exercises in AMRAP number 3. These are ones we've already done. It's the quad heavy one for sure. Those lunge hops with the switches, and then the little donkey kick with that little hop. So those are the exercises. Take these next several seconds though, just to catch your breath. Mentally prepare. We are going into our final 4 minutes of this workout. So I'm going to start down with those donkey hop kicks because that's where I left off the first time we did these. But if you got through them the first time, again, you start with the lunge hop switches. Does not matter. So those donkey hop kicks, it's really a full body exercise. Your shoulders are going to be working. Your core is really active. And you will, of course, feel your quads as we have been talking about. And I'm sure you've noticed this final AMRAP, it is a lot for those thighs. Notice in the lunge hop switches, I'm pumping my arms. It helps to find the rhythm, get your whole body involved. You sort of have that smooth momentum going. So you'll notice I have opposite hand in front, and then they just swing back and forth when I do that little scissor switch. We're about a minute in. That means you have 3 minutes to go in this entire workout, okay? That's nothing. If you've made it this far, you can give me another 3 minutes. So let's check in on form. If you need to slow it down to maintain proper form, I want you to do that. All right, friends, we are at the halfway mark. 2 minutes down, we got 2 minutes to go. So if you're feeling comfortable, if maybe you've taken modifications and this isn't as challenging, then maybe you go back to the harder version of the exercises, or maybe you just pick up the pace a little bit, okay? You should get to the end of these 4 minutes and feel like you gave it absolutely everything, all right? So no saving energy, okay? We're in the last 90 seconds now. In the lunge hop switches, make sure that you're low in the lunge when you do the hop, okay? So as we get more and more fatigued, our legs do not want to bend quite as deep, but that back knee should just be a few inches off the floor. Final 60 seconds on the clock, okay? You have under a minute to go. Let's do this. So again, set a goal for yourself. Think back to the first time you did this AMRAP. How many rounds were you able to get through? Maybe you try to match that this time. Or based on what you've been able to do these first 3 minutes, set a goal for yourself. Final 30 seconds. So I'm making my way to those lunge hop switches. Because we don't have a lot of time left, I'm going to cut down the rep number I do on each side just so that I get an even amount. But depending on where you are in the workout, don't worry about doing the same thing, okay? So I'm just going to do 2 on that side, going to do 2 on the other. Do as I say, not as I do, because I'm taking my sweet old time right now in between reps. I'm dying. And done. Hope you enjoyed that workout. If you did, you know the drill. Give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Next week, I'll have the second video in this series, which will focus on lower body, and the week after that, we'll do upper body and core. Next Monday is Memorial Day, so I'm going to post the next one on Tuesday instead of my normal Monday, just a heads up, and I will see you then.